Go for it, Bree.
Happy Tuesday! I hope everyone had a great long weekend, enjoyed your Memorial Day, celebrating those that have served and given the ultimate sacrifice for all of us to be here doing this and sharing it with the world. So quick couple announcements. To Be Mindset is still on sale. It is $20 off challenge packs now through June 3rd. June 4th, the app launches. So last minute people, get it in now while it's on sale before this app launches. They still have access to the app and everything come launch day, June 4th. On June 11th, you can start doing pre-sales for, maybe it's not June 11th. Yeah, no, June 11th, pre-sales for Lift 4 and Mes de Mas, the Spanish-speaking workout program, as well as Joel's program. So they're following the same schedule. They'll have VIP access come July 16th. You will be in the test group with Joel. I know I will be there. I hope to see the rest of your smiling faces there as well. And it would be great to get a lot of challengers. We saw how much 80-Day Obsession blew up the hub and a lot of people's business on our team, and Lift 4 can do the same thing. And then last but not least, Beachbody Challenge grand prize winners. Voting opens today. So these are people that have had some killer transformations. So go online, vote. They'll be announcing the winner at Summit, and it is so inspirational to hear their stories. So go check them out online and definitely vote. And that's all I have. Happy Tuesday.
All right, I have a few follow-up announcements just so you guys know, because we know June is like right around the corner and there's a lot coming your way. I wanted to share something new that Katie should be here. She gave me this idea. You guys are going to see this announced on the team page, but starting in June, we're going to do a book of the month and a product of the month. So I hope you're really excited about that. This is going to be something we're going to share with our challengers as well. So on June 1st, it'll go up in the hub. But I wanted to share with you guys what book we're doing so you can get your hands on it now. We're doing Girl Code. If you haven't read it before, it's a super easy read. It's like, not hard. And Beach Bars. So if you haven't tried them, go get yourself some Beach Bars and give it a try. The other thing that they posted today, so next week's call, I'm going to kind of share with you guys our launch plan for Lift 4. I'm working with the leaders on the team this next week to kind of really solidify that, but it'll be all Lift 4 next week. We'll walk through everything. But I wanted to let you guys know the other thing Beachbody just threw in for the people that buy VIP access starting June 11th, which of course will be all of us first. Joel's going to do 4 prep workouts. So I'm super, super pumped about that. And then your focus for this next week is Mermaid Boot Camp. So I put up a Facebook event. It is direct access to getting on the preview workout for Lift 4 on June 4th. So it's only one day. It's going to be available on Beachbody On Demand. It doesn't have to be people that have Beachbody On Demand. It's going to be outside the platform. So anybody you're talking to, get them in that Facebook event and then personally message them and tell them about that event. Let's see what else. I think that was it. Oh, the last thing for May, Team Tank Tops. I want to shout out Danielle and Jacqueline. I don't know where she is, but both of them have already earned their Team Tank Tops. Proud of you guys. It is still possible to help 3 people. I'm still here to help every single one of you do it. And don't you dare give up, because there's still plenty of time this month. All right. So I have asked Sydney to come on. She has been one of my coaches for a while. She's been a little bit quieter lately, but she is actually Catherine's coach. And so she is a registered dietitian, and a lot of times you might see her pop in the hub and give this whole long spiel about different products of people that ask about them. So she is knowledgeable, guys, and she has the background to really share with you guys, about the different products that we have. Sometimes we think we have to know it all to share everything, and that's not the point of this call, but it is the point of this call to educate you a little bit more on what we have to offer so that you can confidently go into your conversations and say, no, this is actually the real deal behind it, but then also use your story to bring out the things that you learned from Sydney. So I'm really excited about this. I know she's going to have some good information for you guys. And if you have any questions throughout the call, please put them in the chat and I can always direct them to you. And thank you, Sydney. She's on West Coast time, so this is a big deal for her to be on here, which is why you don't normally see her. So take it away.
Yes. Hi. Sorry for the bad lighting. I'm still in my office at work. So you guys get my artificial light. Being a dietitian, we get to be in the basement most of the time. So I have no real light in my office ever. So I just wanted to start by talking about Shakeology first. And it's probably the main product that we all started with when we were looking at Beachbody and the workout programs, and then kind of evolved from there. So that's what I'm going to start with. And one thing that I like to do first is to look at the label of the products just to see what's on there. And the first thing that you'll see on the back of the Shakeology, especially if you get the bags of Shakeology versus just the little packets, you will see that there's a bunch of information about their proprietary blends. And I just wanted to let you guys know, I mean, I know we're all smart women, but the proprietary blends, because Shakeology isn't regulated the same way as a lot of other products, Beachbody does not have to disclose how much of those specific ingredients are listed in their products. So they just have to tell you what's in it, but not how much of each of those things are in it. It's like a secret recipe. So like if your grandma has a favorite cookie recipe and she doesn't want to share it with anybody, that's her proprietary blend of cookies. So Shakeology has that for their products as well. So since that's on the top of the label, I did just want to start by talking about that. Next would be the macronutrients. So what makes Shakeology such a great product? A lot of people will use it as a meal replacement. And so it does have all of the macronutrients that you need in it, which would be your protein, your carbohydrates, and your healthy fats. And the nice thing about Shakeology is that their protein, carbohydrates, and fats come from a variety of sources. So what that does is it allows the body to break it down at various speeds so it can keep you fuller for longer. So when they say on the packaging or in the advertisements that it keeps you fuller for longer, the reason why is because it comes from so many different variety of sources. Some of the protein and carbohydrate will take longer to digest, and some of it takes a shorter amount of time. So that's why it can be used right before or right after a workout. But the healthy fats are always going to take the longest to digest, and Shakeology does have, I believe it's 35 grams of calories from fat. So it is a good amount of long-lasting fuel for you. The micronutrients, which are your vitamins and minerals, are the next thing that's really great about Shakeology. So a lot of Americans in our normal everyday diet don't get enough micronutrients or vitamins and minerals, which is why a lot of people will take a multivitamin. But what's great about Shakeology is that it has a bunch of micronutrients in it. So it has a bunch of different vitamins and minerals, and they're from naturally occurring sources. So when you're talking to a dietitian, most of us will usually tell you not to supplement yourself with a non-food supplement. So if you do choose to take some type of supplement, we would rather it be from a natural food source. And there are plenty of those out there on the market, but they're not well regulated. So that's why Shakeology is great, because it does have all of those naturally occurring vitamins and minerals in it. And it has 24 in all, which include B6, iron, vitamin D, and vitamin C, which most Americans actually lack in our diet. So it's covering some of those bases that we don't normally get even in a healthy diet. Then we have the pre and probiotics. So a prebiotic is a naturally occurring non-digestible food component. So basically fiber is what a prebiotic is, or most of the time they're fiber. And what it does is it promotes the growth of good gut bacteria. And so a lot of times you'll hear a bunch of information about probiotics and fostering the good bacteria in your gut, because that's going to help you nutritionally with a lot of things. It helps to boost your immune system. It helps you with regulation of hormones. It's going to help you with satiety and hunger. It's also going to help you with your mood. So a lot of our serotonin is actually produced in our gut. And if we have the right type of bacteria, it's going to help you regulate your moods too. So if you're somebody who suffers from anxiety or depression, a lot of stress, having good gut bacteria can definitely help you with that. So the prebiotics, you actually need those in order for the probiotics to work. So Shakeology is nice in the fact that it has both of them. It has those prebiotics, but it also has the probiotics, which help to promote your good gut bacteria. So there's two different types of prebiotics in Shakeology. It's the Yukon root and the chicory root. And then it has one type of probiotic in it, which is the Lactobacillus spirituosus. But it's one of the most common probiotics that you're going to find out there. And it actually does have that in there. Yeah, I can't say that 5 times fast. It's hard enough to say it just once. And then other ingredients that are listed on there with the probiotics that end in an ASE or an ACE, like a lactase, would be a digestive enzyme. And what that does is it helps you to break down different food products or byproducts of the food. So one of the most common ACEs that we think of is a lactase. So people who are missing lactase in their body are lactose intolerant because they cannot break down the lactose sugar. So Shakeology has a bunch of those types of enzymes to help you better digest your food. So if you see a bunch of things with ASE at the end of it, that's what those are there for. And then a lot of times those will help us in cases of like chronic inflammation. So if you have any people who have like IBS or any type of chronic inflammatory disease, those can help with that. It also helps with food sensitivities. So people who are sensitive to different types of foods, having those enzymes in Shakeology definitely helps with that. And then it also helps with stress. It gives our body the ability to break down foods a little bit better and help with the free radicals a little bit. So the next nice thing about Shakeology is the antioxidants. So antioxidants, the most common ones are vitamin C, vitamin E, vitamin A, and lycopene, and all of those are in Shakeology, and they protect our cells from free radicals. So free radicals cause damage to our cells, and if our cells aren't able to function properly, then they're not able to protect us from anything from the common cold to more serious things that are going to happen later on if we continue with that process. So antioxidants are definitely a really important part of Shakeology. Phytonutrients are also another component. And so those are, when you think of like your dark leafy greens or dark purple vegetables, those sorts of things, those are having a lot of phytonutrients in them. There are a lot of concentrated color in one spot, and that's going to help you to reduce the risk of disease. So specifically your heart disease, diabetes, for sure are two things that those phytonutrients definitely help with. And we think about it as like the super green blend. So when Shakeology says that it has the super green blend in it, it's going to be kale, spinach, and spirulina, which if you don't know what that is, it's an algae. It is usually in a powdered form, and it makes things really like a dark teal color if you just use it by itself. But mixed in with all the other good things in Shakeology, it doesn't turn it a weird green color. But that's what it has in it, in that phytonutrient super green blend. And then one thing that Shakeology has that probably a lot of people don't know about is the adaptogens. And so an adaptogen is going to help to reduce the stress response in the body. And so if we have that chronic stress response, it leads to a bad cycle with your sleep, which then can lead to a bad cycle with disease. And if you're predisposed to any of that, you have any genetic factors that are, putting you at higher risk for heart disease or diabetes or, anything like that, Alzheimer's disease. These adaptogens can really help you to reduce that stress response, which can reduce your risk for those types of diseases. So adaptogens are a big fancy word, but basically it just means that there are things in there that help you to reduce the stress response in your body. And it's an herbal blend. So whatever Shakeology's herbal blend is, that's where the adaptogens are. And Shakeology is a nutrient-dense food, so it packs a lot of nutrition into a very minimal amount of food, which is why it is a great product. So if you have somebody who is really lacking in nutrition, it's a great way to get them on track. It has fiber in it as well, like we talked about, so it's great to help get people regulated. It has 170 calories, and 35 of those calories are from healthy fats. So even if somebody looks at it and says, oh, it has 35 calories from fat, it's okay. It's healthy fats. We need those to keep going. One thing that I usually will tell people, though, being at that low of a calorie content by itself, if it's just mixed with water, if they're trying to use it as a meal replacement, you do want to add some other ingredients to it. So it only has about 17 grams of protein. And most of the time when I'm telling people to do a meal replacement, I want them to have about 20 to 25 grams of protein. So they're going to need to add something else in there, maybe a nut butter. If they're a vegetarian or even not a vegetarian, you want to add a little bit of tofu, creamy. It makes it more creamy, like a milkshake. And it doesn't really add any flavors to it. I always like a half of a banana in mine just because it helps with the sweetness. But I mean, it's really up to personal preference, and it's up to you guys to kind of share what you've found with the people that you're serving. But definitely, if they want to use it as a meal replacement, they need to have something else added to it just to boost those calories up a little bit, even just around 250 calories, which would be like half of a banana and a couple of tablespoons of peanut butter or something like that. So that's my information on Shakeology. Do you guys?
Can I say one thing?
Uh-huh.
The whole point of this call, just so you guys know, it's not to know all the scientific words, right? Like Sydney is the registered dietitian. She is very good at knowing those things. The key for you is to pull out something that she says from your story. So like what the things I wrote down were like stress and inflammation and immune system, things that kind of connect to me and my story. Because as you get on these team calls, you're gonna be learning a lot, right? But you don't need to tell people all those little details of nutrition. You can just pull out some of the things she's saying and remind yourself, oh yeah, Shakeology has helped me do that, or this product's helped me do that. And then it's gonna remind you to share that as your story. So I just wanted to kind of note that, like, she's the science guru. You don't have to be. It's just to remind you how good our products are. And I didn't pay her to say this, and she's not getting paid to say this. She's literally just speaking from her own background. So I thought that was important to note.
Yeah. And if you guys do ever have any questions, I mean, you can friend me on social media, or ask Danielle for my number or whatever. I mean, I'm happy to answer some of those questions for you, but it really isn't. I mean, I don't expect you. I went to 6 years of school. So I don't expect you guys to be, remembering all the scientific stuff, but hopefully you can pull out something from the benefits of it, at least, that can help you to promote it a little bit better and to answer some of the questions too. I mean, if people like, why is it such a good product? Well, you can pick out something that would relate to them based on their background, based on what you heard potentially today. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is the performance line. So the performance line has 5 different products in it. The first one would be the Energize, or the Glow Juice. Yes. So there are, there's a lot of different ingredients in it. There's sodium, calcium, magnesium, potassium, but the ingredients that have the most scientific background to be beneficial for the Energize component of this product would be the beta alanine and the caffeine, which is in the form of green tea in this particular product. So beta alanine has a couple of small studies on it that show improvement in physical performance during high intensity exercise and strength training. But there's not a lot of large scale studies on it. And then pull from your own personal experience, obviously, if you use it and you feel those benefits from it, you can, relay that to other people and let them know what you feel. But the scientific background on that for the beta alanine is just that it there are some studies that show that it does help with the high intensity exercise and strength training. And then the caffeine, it really doesn't have a lot of caffeine in it. It only has 100 milligrams, which is equivalent to about half of a cup of coffee. But if you're somebody like myself who's very sensitive to caffeine, having a full scoop to start off with can actually affect you. So if you're talking to somebody and they say that they are sensitive to caffeine, I would suggest maybe a fourth or half of a scoop to start with, just so they can see what it feels like to them, and then go from there. Because I know when I tried the whole thing at first, I was like, whoa, I don't need a whole thing to start with. But they can definitely work themselves up to it as well, having a whole scoop, because caffeine, you do get used to it. If you drink coffee every day, you're going to want that coffee, and you're going to know when you don't have it. So that's about Energize.
Guys, remember what she said about the caffeine. All natural from green tea.
Green tea.
Okay. Different than caffeine from Coke.
Yes, very different. Yeah. And I mean, if you look at how, I mean, that's a great point too. If you look at how caffeine affects the body, and you were to look into like studies on that, if you look at caffeine from the green tea, it's going to be a more like mediated effect versus like something from Coke. It's going to, with the sugar along with that caffeine, is really going to put it like spike you way up, and then you have a lot faster and farther to fall from that energy spike as well. So with the type of sugar, like usually in these products, it's going to be, I think it's a beet sugar and stevia. And so both of those, because of the type of sugar that they are, it's not going to cause you to have that crash like a soda or a juice or a Starbucks frilly coffee drink or anything like that. So it is a lot different to have the caffeine from this product versus something else. And it can be a great way for people to start off the morning, especially if they are a coffee drinker, and they're used to having a whole cup of coffee. Maybe they could do 2 scoops of it with the amount of caffeine that's in it, to kind of replace that, or do like half of it before their workout and half of it after their workout. So it's definitely a potential energy replacer for people if they're trying to get away from some of that stuff. So Hydrate is the next one. It's very similar to Energize in the components that are in it, minus the caffeine. So it does not have the green tea extract in it. But it does have the calcium, magnesium, sodium, and potassium, which are important because they can help with muscle cramping. So it's especially important if you're going to be sweating excessively. So like I'm a heavy sweater to begin with, but if I'm exercising in like 100-degree humid weather, then I probably want to make sure I have something like Hydrate, because that's going to help me to be able to exercise for the whole time. Whereas if I'm just exercising in my house and I'm not necessarily, doing something that's super high intensity, I might not need it on that day. So that's one of those products where you potentially could need it depending on what you're doing, but you might not always need that product. And so that's just something to keep in mind too when you're telling people about the performance stacks. I know that they can come in a variety of different things, and that may not be something that people need. So the Recover is next. And one, I love chocolate Recover. I tried the sample of it and it was really great. I'm a big fan of like chocolate. Well, I'm lactose intolerant, so I'm a big fan of chocolate almond milk. After I work out, it has that quick sugar, and I sit in my car for like an hour after I do Orange Theory to drive home. So it's a quick something, but this would be a great alternative because it has better protein in it. So one of the things when you're thinking about replenishing after you work out is that you want to have something with a little bit of carbohydrate, a little bit of protein, and a little bit of healthy fat. And the nice thing about Recover is that it has all of those things in it. And you can mix it just with water. Like it's perfect how it is. You don't need to put anything else in it. If you want a creamier consistency, I would say do an unsweetened almond milk, just because you're not adding much to it. There's not much in there. Or an unsweetened vanilla almond milk if you really like the vanilla flavor of that. But it is perfect how it's made just with water. So it does contain a protein blend. And what's nice about that is that not all of the protein is absorbed at the same time. It's absorbed at different rates. So that means that it's available to your muscles as they recover from a strenuous workout, even more than just the 1 hour after you take it. So it can, while you're sleeping for those 6 to 8 hours after you work out, once you drink that Recover, it's going to be working for the whole time, which I think is a really great benefit to this product that not a lot of protein shakes have. And that Shakeology doesn't have either. I mean, it has a good amount of protein, but it doesn't have this particular blend, which is specifically made to help you recover from a workout. It also contains the branched chain amino acids, which I'm sure everybody has heard about. It used to be a really big word, or really popular amongst bodybuilders, and I think it still is. But basically, the branched chain amino acids help to reduce muscle breakdown. So having that extended period of time with those different types of proteins and the branched chain amino acids are going to help you to recover better. You won't have as much muscle breakdown. There's also another component in there as well called L-glutamine, which just helps increase the blood flow to your muscles, which provide more oxygen. So it's kind of cool that you have a drink that's going to promote better oxygen flow to help your muscles heal, which will prevent delayed onset muscle soreness. So you won't be as sore if you have this product after you do a strenuous workout. And I mean, this is more so for your products, for your workouts where you're doing like heavy lifting, high intensity kind of stuff, versus like a stretching or a yoga or lower intensity where you might not be working your muscles as hard. But for those programs like 80-Day Obsession, like the Lift 4 that I think is coming out, definitely an option, and probably you should get that. And then Recharge. So this one's the one that only comes in the vanilla flavor. I don't love vanilla, but this one wasn't terrible. It's very similar to Recover with the slight changes of it has a decreased amount of sodium because you're not using it right after you work out. The idea is that you use it right before you go to bed, and it has less carbohydrates in it. And then the type of protein that's in it is casein, which is a slow release protein. So it's called the bedtime protein, which is why they use this as a shake right before you go to bed. This is just becoming popular in the bodybuilding world right now. People are learning about the casein and how to use that a little bit differently. So depending on what your workout is, if you're feeling particularly sore one day, it may be of benefit to have something like this. Otherwise, if you're happy with the Recover, it's just, another tool that you could use, but you don't have to add it in there because it is very, very similar to the Recover. It's just a different type of protein that's in there. And then the last thing is the creatine. So not a lover of creatine. It is supposed to improve your high intensity exercise performance and enhance your resistance training and boost muscle recovery, but there really is no scientific evidence to support this. So some people see benefits from it. I think a lot of it is water being put into the cells, which does allow you to push through to that extra rep, but it may not be building muscle like you think. So it's not that you can't use the product. It's safe to use. It's, definitely appropriate, but it may not be for everybody. I think a lot of guys would want this product and would benefit from this product or want to gravitate towards that product just because they've heard it before and they know that it's in their pre-workouts and all of that, but there's just no scientific evidence for it. So use it if you want to. There's no harm in using it. Definitely. Okay. I was going to say, I do have a little bit on the boosts if you want me to do that as well.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Anything on the boost?
Okay.
Or I know you've looked into beach bars a little bit. That would be great, Sydney.
Yep. Yeah, sure. So the Shakeology boosts, there are 3 different ones. The digestive health, which is mostly fiber. So there's 4 different types of fiber in it: chia, flax, pea, and psyllium husk. Psyllium husk is what we normally think of when we think of fiber. It is what Metamucil is. So if you think of people taking a fiber supplement, that's normally what they take. There is a lot of research on psyllium husk fiber for reducing LDL cholesterol. So if somebody has really high LDL cholesterol or has a family history of heart disease, this boost might actually be appropriate for them because of the type of fiber that's in it. So that's just like a little side note on the psyllium husk fiber. It also has,
Can you explain what like the boosts, some of them, who knows what the boosts are? Okay. So can you just like explain why they even exist?
Yeah. So they're small containers, which you can put like 1 to 2 scoops. I think it tells you exactly on the back of the container how many scoops to put in it, but it's to add nutritional value to your Shakeology. Yay, you have one. Perfect. You have the one that I'm talking about right now. And the other one. Yeah. So it varies depending on which one. Is that one 1 scoop or 2 scoops?
I think they're all 1 scoop.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So depending on whether or not you want some added benefits to your Shakeology or to one of your other products, you could put it in there because it's in a powder form, kind of like Shakeology. So I think it works best in the Shakeology, and that's what it's meant for, because you can actually, mix it in. So they are nice with the fiber, like the digestive health. If you have trouble being regular or you know somebody who has trouble being regular, it's a great additive in there. And they also have the chia and the flax fiber have omega-3 benefits as well. So heart healthy all around. Definitely for those people who have heart disease, high blood pressure, high cholesterol in their family history or themselves. That's a great boost and a great product that they could add to their Shakeology. The Power Greens, which Danielle also has, is mainly the phytonutrients or the dark color green. So that powder is actually green. Yes. Yeah, green. Very dark colored green. And it has kale, chlorella, which is a type of algae, and spinach as well. So that is the like antioxidants, like the anti-inflammatory, that type of stuff. And people, Danielle put on there, people who are bad veggie eaters. Yes, it does allow you to add all of those benefits in there. That if you're not getting a well-rounded, healthy diet, or you don't think you're getting enough vegetables, it can definitely boost that for you. And then the last one is focused energy. This one's supposed to help you with alertness, fatigue, vitality, and there's something else in it called lion's mane, which really doesn't have a lot of research on it. But a lot of Asian background type of, like, it has ginseng, it has guarana, and it has an adaptogen in it as well, which is, like I said, supposed to help with that stress related part. So for somebody who just needs a little bit of extra energy boost, because maybe they're trying to cut down on coffee or something like that, and maybe they're not using the glow juice, they can add that in there. Danielle Bennett has been loving it. Awesome. Maybe she can share with us how she feels about it too. But it is, I mean, there's nothing in it that's bad. And some of it has research and some of it doesn't. So I would say, definitely test it out and see if you like it. And if you do, then great, you can add it in. That's what I tell a lot of people. It was a good pick me up in the morning. Love it. So I did do a little bit on the 3-day refresh as well, because I know quite a few of you are doing that right now. So the Shakeology, we've already gone over the benefits of that. The fiber sweep it has all of those high fiber benefits. So it would be similar to using that fiber boost or the digestive boost, but that is, in a different form. It is going to help to, your body naturally cleans itself out, but it's going to help you to really get everything moving through your system a lot faster. So you will definitely be pooping if you take that. Don't worry, I talk about poop every day in my job, so I'm very comfortable with it. And then the Vanilla Fresh is different than the Shakeology because it has 20 grams of protein in it. So it is higher protein. It is meant to be a meal replacement by itself, along with like your veggies and that kind of stuff. So that one is different and it's special. Unlike Shakeology, it can be used just with water or with the unsweetened almond milk by itself. And then the beach bars. So I make my own granola bars because I know exactly what goes in them. But I like the beach bars because you can see what's in them. And one of the things that I look for in bars when I'm shopping is the amount of fiber. And I like my products to have at least 3 grams of fiber or more. If it has 5 grams of fiber, that's great, but not a lot out there besides Fiber One have 5 grams of fiber. So beach bars actually have 4 grams of fiber in a whole bar, which is awesome. They're 150 calories, so they're great as a snack. A snack should be anywhere between 100 and 200 calories for most people, especially women. When we're looking at how to break up our calories throughout the day, that's actually like a perfect amount of calories. And then it has 10 grams of protein, and you're going to be hard pressed to find another bar that has 10 grams of protein in it, especially with the low amount of carbohydrates that are in this bar as well. So the types of sugars that they use, it has the high fiber in it, it has a good amount of protein. These are really a complete snack bar, and more complete than you're going to find anywhere else. And they actually do taste good. So you can tell people that too, because I know like some of the bars that are more healthy don't really taste great. So yeah. And then just a small little bit about the container system. So a lot of the programs do use the container system. They have the different colors that relate to different food groups. So it's very similar to the plate method, which is what we teach as dietitians. That's what is regulated by the government right now. And probably if you have any kids, which your kids are learning in school. So it just helps you to get a more balanced diet. It is important to focus on those green containers. If you don't have them, make sure you focus on them. It's a huge part. There's a lot more research coming out now on how a partial vegetarian diet, so you don't have to be fully vegetarian, but a partial vegetarian diet helps to prevent a lot of different diseases. So maybe in the programs that you have, look at what the vegetarian and vegan meal plans are to see if there's anything that you want to switch in there. That's my little dietitian plug there. And then check out the 2B mindset. If you haven't checked it out before, I mean, even getting in the group and seeing what it's all about, it would really be worth it. From a dietitian, it's created by a dietitian. She's the one who does all the videos. She created the program. It's really great. Even if you don't consider yourself to be an emotional eater, it has a lot of really great principles to it, and it can help you to change your lifestyle for the better. So if you have not looked into it, I'll put another plug in there to look into that program. And that's all I have.
That was awesome. I don't know how you guys feel. Like, I know it's a lot of scientific information, but I think that this is important for you guys to understand how good we have it. Because we don't have to come up with any of these products. We don't have to know everything about them. We don't need to know all the details and facts and figures. We just need to be armed with our story and be confident that somebody who's a professional is telling y'all how freaking awesome they are. And now it's your job to find people that need help and give them the solutions to their problems. And I think it's important to know how deep our library is as well. You know, yeah, Shakeology is such a big part of what we do, but there's also so many other options. And it goes back to what Sydney said on multiple occasions. If you don't know what they are, it's time to try them yourself and share them. Because the more that you can speak from personal experience, the more it's easier to connect people with the right thing and what they need. Did you guys have any specific questions you wanted to throw in the chat or unmute yourself? Go for it, Liz.
Thanks. That was so cool. So question I have is, how long do people have to like either be on Shakeology or try a boost or something for it to work? Like, I feel like sometimes people have one shake and they're like, well, it was fine, but I didn't love it, so I'm done. Or they were like, oh, I had 3 of these and I didn't feel like Beyonce, so no thanks. How long do you feel like it actually takes?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think it definitely, depending on the person too, like because a lot of the products have the stevia in it. Stevia has a weird taste to some people. It has kind of a bitter taste and it takes a little while to get used to. I think that there's a reason why they have that 30 day trial period, because I do think a month is a pretty good amount of time, especially if it's somebody who's exercising at the same time. It's going to take them that long to see any type of results. So like when I have clients that come in and they want to come in and see me every week, I'm like, well, you're not going to see results if you come in and see me every week, because it takes a while for the body to adapt to those changes that you're making. And it has to, I mean, they have to adapt, years worth of bad habits as well. So, I mean, for some people, it can even take longer than a month, but I think a month is a pretty good amount of time, like to have somebody try it and to say, if you don't like it after a month, is there something else that we can do? Have you tried all of these different things? At least it gives them a full 4 weeks to really try the products and to see how it's working, because before that, they're not really going to have any type of like anything to show, right? It's going to take them that long with the exercise as well to see a difference.
Love that question. And it goes back to being on your challengers, right? Like we're coaches, not saying that Liz doesn't do this, but we totally get these questions all the time in the hub, right? It's like what I shared today. I kept getting the question, this Shakeology recipe isn't working for me. Well, let's talk about it. Let's have the conversation and let's do it publicly. If you guys are hearing similar questions from your challengers, use the hub as a place where you can share it. And then also Sydney can get in there and kind of share her tips as the expert. But I agree. I think it's getting back to, are you doing it every day? Or going to a half a scoop with Shakeology is another option as well, so that they can get used to it. But we're coaches, right? So we have to help people through the things that maybe are working and aren't working. And everybody's different. So that's also a hard answer. What else you guys got? Anything? All right. Well, this was super helpful. I so appreciate it, Sydney. I can't wait to get you freaking on here more often, even though you're on West Coast time. But we so appreciate all your knowledge and hard work and research, because I know it's a lot. But I am just so excited that you're here. And I hope you guys learned a lot. And now you go take this and don't be a robot, still be human and share your story. But use it to be authentic with it and know that you can be super confident with what you have to offer. So month ain't over, y'all. If you need help with conversations, plug into your message pods, use me, use your upline, use anybody on this team, and let's go crush some goals, all right? It's still Make It Happen May, and a lot can happen, my friends. All right? I will talk to you guys later.